Hey, good evening, social change warriors. Welcome back to our Wednesday night Angry Bitch Club. Our bees are going to buzz a little bit tonight. We have some important information to share with you. We want to talk tonight a little bit about what it's like on these online platforms for people. I really believe, because I have been a consumer of social media since it started, that we don't educate ourselves enough on what we're in for when we decide to participate in social media in this new age world. So we decided tonight just to go rogue. We are unscripted. Amber will be joining me soon. I have been on planes, trains, and automobiles again the last 3 days. Just got back to Madison after going back to my house in Florida for 2 weeks. I get the pleasure of having a new knee put in next Wednesday. So we will not be here next Wednesday, and it is the night before Thanksgiving. So I hope all of you will take a break and unplug from social media. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight too. Just some sharing, some venting, some bitching, educating. Take whatever you want from it. If you like some of it, great. If you don't, that's okay too. We're not here to preach to you. Even though I've been accused of finger shaking by the glare, I'm not a finger shaker, man. I'm just a concerned citizen. I'm just an ex-cop who really doesn't like to see laws being broken. And I'm actually a very kind person. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about tonight. I don't usually like to preach my own preach or tap myself on the back too much, but when you get called out for 2 weeks straight just for doing something you thought was right, and you get called a grifter and an opportunist and just about anything and everything people could think to come up with to call me has happened in the last 2 weeks by total strangers, by people that don't know me, don't know a thing about my past or my character. It's a little tough. It's a little tough to take. So we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight, because I truly don't appreciate it, and I don't really feel it was necessary or warranted. And so we're going to chat a little bit about that tonight, and just overall about how toxic these platforms can be. So next Wednesday we'll be off because I'm having a new knee put in, and then Thursday, of course, is Thanksgiving. So I have my thoughts on Thanksgiving as well. I have a hard time saying happy Thanksgiving. We want to put a happy in front of everything these days, and there's a lot about the origins of our country and of Native Americans and Thanksgiving that I'm not super proud of or happy about. So that might be something we'll talk about the week after Thanksgiving. But, do what you do here in America, unplug, eat food, watch football if you love football, take hikes, go touch grass, please, people. Get off of social media for a few days. I beg of you, especially those of you that are just so wound tight about the death of John O'Keefe and the what I consider to be the improper arrest of an innocent woman. And many of you don't agree with me, and you tell me that every day when I make my posts about Karen Reed, which I have been making since way before I ever decided to live stream, way back in April or March, whenever I started, because I felt like I should go back on Twitter because I went off, because I was kind of mad about Twitter and how toxic it had become. And I went off of Twitter for a while. But when I started following the Jennifer Dulos murder many years ago, and the fact that her body has never been found, and I am an advocate for victims and survivors of domestic violence. I have volunteered my time in domestic violence shelters. I have volunteered my time on Skid Row in LA, working with homeless and working with domestic violence victims who end up homeless. Some of these cases of domestic violence murder really hurt my heart. So I was very in tune to the Jennifer Dulos case, to her husband, who decided to unalive himself because he knew he was going to get convicted. He knew they had all the evidence they needed. But they have never found her, and he would not tell anyone where she was. He left a unaliving note, which told nobody where her body is, so her family has never been able to give her a proper burial. That is just disgusting and despicable. But this person was obviously a narcissistic sociopath. So, he murdered her because he was tired of her and didn't want to share custody of their kids and didn't want to split their money or their house. Found himself a new girlfriend. So then she went to trial. And I'm guessing many of you followed that trial. So at some point, social change warriors, we're going to go over that case and that trial again, because I still hope that with enough attention that somebody who knows something will tell us where Jennifer is buried, and she will be able to be returned to her family for a proper service. That's what we have to hope for her now, because she's in heaven, so we can't bring her back. That's how I got interested in going back on Twitter. I really had no desire. So then once I got back down in that rabbit hole of Twitter, where you tend to get a little addicted to what total strangers are telling you with no receipts, with no proof, just their opinion, then you want to tell your opinion. You want to get on there and say, hey, but I think this, or I believe this because of this. And I fell into it, and I got back on it. And then I got involved following the Karen Reed and John O'Keefe. So then I formed my opinion about that, my opinion. Then I watched the whole trial. I live tweeted about it. I tweeted about it. I went to all of the internet. I went to the Aidan Kearney's show. I was in then a couple other live streamers who had content in other directions. Some of it was looking out for victims, some of it wasn't. Then they became friends with Aidan, and then they started live streaming about it. And then before you know it, half of Massachusetts, thankfully, is behind the death of John O'Keefe and trying to find his true murderers. Then you've got all the other people out there who, for whatever reasons they have, they don't believe that he died that way. They believe that she ran over him because she was mad and they were fighting. And he got out of the car to go to the party, the after bar party at the Alberts, and she was pissed off and put her car in reverse and drove it 24 miles an hour backwards in a snowstorm, I might add, and clipped him with her car and landed him unconscious with a head injury in the front yard, where she drove off and left him there to freeze to death. That's what the other side believes. Okay, there's two sides to this situation, and there always is when you follow true crime. I need my true crimers to chime in here, because I know you know this, that you either think someone's guilty or you think they're innocent. So, or you believe one person murdered somebody, or you believe another person murdered somebody, right? So thanks, Reality Check. Great to see you, girl. Happy to have you here. And yes, I agree with her. Karen Reed is absolutely innocent. I watched the entire trial. Like I said, I live stream about it. I was really into it. But then I started thinking about all the other victims that I had been following, murders, domestic violence, women who had been murdered. And I suddenly realized, hey, I'm retired. Hey, I used to be a journalist when I was young. Then I was a cop. Then I was a social worker. And I started thinking, I've got these three cool careers that I was so fortunate to be able to have in my life because of my education, because of my background and always wanting to learn and be a bookworm. Why not take all those three careers and share them with y'all? Why not live stream? Because a lot of people are live streaming who don't have half the background I have. Nothing against you guys, but if you have the background and you are live streaming, and I know what my background is, and I'm bored and I'm retired and I need something to do. So let me go on this platform and let me give it a try. And let me see if I can do this. I didn't know if I was going to be any good at it. I didn't know if anybody would care enough to want to come listen to me, other than my dear friend Kathy Coppins, who's actually hosting me tonight. I am in her guest room tonight, and my friends and my family. That's who I figured would come to my live streams, or who might sign up for Social Change Warriors YouTube platform. But I have made so many new friends via this live streaming adventure, and I have come to really respect a lot of people that I have met on here. I have had people come at me for believing that Karen Reed is innocent, because I have been very loud and very verbal on Twitter X. So for those of you wagging your finger at me and telling me that I'm a grifter and I'm an opportunist and I'm just jumping on this train because I want to be in fandom with all of you that are now fans of these other internet content creators, be a fan, go for it. If they're your jam and you like watching their shows, please do. But if I criticize them because I'm finding something I don't care for, as a social worker, as an ex-cop, as a journalist, as a mom, because they're putting themselves on the internet. So if I go in their chat box and make a constructive criticism and they don't like that, I would really appreciate that you don't then just come after me, because that's between me and them. If they're choosing to live stream and they're choosing to tell me something that I don't necessarily like or believe or agree with, and I want to comment to them, I'm not commenting to you. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to them. And if they don't have time or the staff to talk back to me or invite me on their show and let me give them my opinion, because I do have all these backgrounds, that's okay. I'm good with that. Not everybody gets invited on shows. You're all invited on my platform. If you want to talk, if you have something to say, I'll fit you in. You can come up for 5 minutes and come on here with no video, just your voice, just your stage name, like most of you use on this platform. Come on, I'm happy to have you. But a lot of content creators don't have time for that. They have too big of an agenda, and that's all good. I'm not being criticizing that, okay? So, but for the bullying that has occurred towards me as my personal self, towards social change warriors, accusing us of being something we're not, accusing me of being someone I'm not, that wasn't going to stand anymore. So I did not come live about this. I have not spoken of this. I've continued to cover my ladies of domestic violence who have been murdered or hurt every Wednesday, and I'm calling out corruption on Thursdays with my friends like Sean and Ed, and Amber and I are trying to point out the corruption that's going on in Indiana, which Ed Byers has brought us to. We are obviously pointing out the corruption in Stoughton, the Sandra Birchmore case. I have pointed out to you the Ellen Greenberg case in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I am not just about one victim. I'm trying to cover as many people that need justice as possible, and I am not doing it for money. Okay, I don't want to do it for money. I don't need to do it for money. I'm doing it because I truly cannot stand how corrupt our government has become. In every state in America, you're going to find this. We're slowly going to say, we're going to put up a map and we're going to put pins in it. And we're going to slowly show you that we have found and dug out and found and buried in the media, or a story that maybe was out for a while and then got completely forgotten, like the Ellen Greenberg case. It's all very localized now. I talked to some of my friends in LA. They've never heard of this case. They never heard of Sandra Birchmore. They've never heard of Justin Root. They've never heard of Thomas Purdy. These are all people that we have covered on Social Change Warriors that are waiting for their justice. And that's why we're here. We are not here to become a brand or to become a business. I have nothing against those of you that are. That's great. If you get to make this your job, you are lucky. And you should feel so grateful to your subscribers and to all the people that are coming on your channel and supporting you and literally bullying me because I dare say something negative about you, which I said what I said. I'll stand by it. If I'll stand by anything I say, because I have an opinion, and this is YouTube, this is StreamYard, and I rent this space and I get to have an opinion. It doesn't mean my opinion's right, but it's mine. Okay. So please don't come for me anymore. I don't need you people to do this. Okay. Just stay in your lane. I'll stay in my lane. I believe Karen Reed is innocent. I will continue to talk about her, but not just her. I will continue to talk about all the victims that I feel are being screwed over by their local government because their cases are being buried. Their cases are covered in dirty cops. They're covered in corruption. And we here at Social Change Warriors, we'll continue to do that because that's what we do. And we will continue to stay unmonetized unless somebody wants to make a donation. Then I'll figure out a way to give it back into the community or to the families of these ladies that we're covering, or any of the gentlemen that we cover on Thursday nights, because Thursday nights we'll cover any crime, any corruption, dirty cops, you name it. Wednesday nights, we're sticking with women because we want to empower women and we want to help hold women up and give them as much support as we can. So that's my opening for tonight. We are Social Change Warriors. We are SCW. If you want to use our hashtags, just us, we are SCW. You want to join Social Change Warriors, you're always welcome. You want to talk, you're welcome. But we have to find a way to be more growing up in our conversations and in the way we call people out on the internet, on Facebook, social media, any social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, you name it. So I'm going to bring Amber up and then she can say her piece for a few minutes tonight, and I'll put up some of your questions or some of your chats here. Thanks again for coming tonight, and thank you so much for watching us on the replay. I do believe that JFK is live right now as well, and I enjoy that young man. So I wished he would have consulted with me, and then I could have gone a little earlier maybe, but I try not to live when others are living that I know is interested in this movement, this Free Karen Reed, John O'Keefe, Sandra Birchmore, everybody in Massachusetts that's getting completely screwed over by their government and their police. I would prefer not to live stream at the same time as any of you because I know how important that all is to those of you that live in Massachusetts. But a lot of us that live in other states are taking up your fight because we agree with you and we believe that you have a very bad situation going on there. So welcome to everybody on replay. And I'm going to bring Amber up here. Give me 2 seconds to do my little technical information here.
Hello.
Hello, Amber. Welcome.
This bee is buzzing tonight. I have a lot to say, Kat, and I have to breaking some news. We talked about JFK being on and James Jackson, who I'm fangirling about and really like their integrity and want them to join forces with us.
Yes.
But a little bee has told me that they're calling out TB. Turtle Boy for what he did on his live and how he wrote about them. So I'm going to be interested in watching that. But I wish they'd talk to us about it. Come on now. Like this
I
is
know.
boys.
Guys,
Let's go.
it's the Angry Bitch Club. We need you to come on over here when you're done and say hi to us, and tell us a little bit about what happened, because I've been in airports and such, so I am completely out of the loop as to that particular live
I'm like,
show.
how
So
much
maybe you
more does a
can.
girl need to beg? I mean, really,
Yes.
I am groveling on my knees,
Yes.
boys.
And so
While
let me run.
Turtle
I
Boy
just
is
want to.
calling them meth muppets. Listen, I'm singing your praises.
All right,
So let's
before
go,
we get
boys.
to that, because I don't know a thing about it. I did not watch the live. I did not watch Aiden's live, so I don't know a thing about it. I just want to welcome everybody that was great enough to come live with us tonight. Ripperjack Media, welcome. I am happy to have you. I know that Reality Check invited you tonight. Peekaboo, I see you. Hi, Reality Check. I know you're in South Carolina. Welcome. And Amber's in Madison. I'm currently in Madison today because I'm back here for my knee surgery, and I go back and forth all the time. I'm a lucky retired person that way. Get to live in 2 places. Deidre, welcome. Again, thank you for your service. Thank you for everything you did to save police officers' lives as a dispatcher. My dispatcher's in heaven right now, Daryl, and man, that guy was the best. He could crack me up when I was having the worst nights. My other dispatcher, Steve, man, what a guy. I had some great dispatchers. Kelly, I had Marsha. I mean, I wish I could shout out to all my dispatchers. They are the best heroes. Most people do not understand the level of stress a dispatcher is under and what they have to do every night in talking down either potential victims or a current person who's being either attacked or is having a major trauma. It's just really unbelievable what you all do. And thank you so much, Deirdre, for your service. And I know you were also military police. So thank you for everything that you've done for everyone in our country. KD, hi, happy Wednesday. Welcome. Reality Check, awesome, back at you. And oh, this is a good one. I like this one. IYKYK. I love it. Free Karen Reed. Absolutely. We have to free Karen Reed. This is ridiculous. The amount of corruption in Canton, Massachusetts, Stoughton, Massachusetts State Police. Oh, you're gonna love this one, guys. And Amber, I sat next to a lady on the plane who lives near me in Daytona Beach now, but she used to live in Massachusetts. And she knew a little bit about the Karen Reed, John O'Keefe, but not a lot. So she asked me to tell her about it. So I literally spent an hour. She loved hearing about it. So I spent an hour telling her about this case and all the nuances of it and all the lies that we had to sit through during that trial, just constant lying right to our faces, thinking that we're stupid. She was all about it. And she completely said to me, "Are you kidding me? That makes zero sense to me." And so, yes,
Right?
Jack River Media, Karen Reed is innocent, and 90% of us in this country know it. Now we just have to hope I'm still hoping that something happens to stop this fiasco. I really hope something can happen. If there's another trial, it's going to make me crazy because I just can't even imagine how are they going to re-represent all of those lies? Are they going to call the same people back? Are they going to reinvent their entire prosecution side, right? Is the CW going to
They're probably
reinvent?
going to make up. They're probably going to make up an entire news story. At first, it was a 3-point turn. Then it turned into her going 24 miles per hour in reverse and hitting him and striking him with her car. They'll find some news story to make up. Oh, we were wrong the first 2 times, but that's fine because she's got the facts on her side and she's 100% innocent.
Right. And Ripper Jack, you're right. Yes, of course you can drive your car at 24 miles per hour or faster, but have you ever done it? I'd love to see all of you go to your local mall and have somebody film you. And I want to see just a normal person who's never been a cop, who's never been an EMS driver, who's never been a race car driver. I want to see all of you drive 24 miles an hour backwards and then tell me how that felt and what was going on. And then imagine that it's snowing and that the roads are slippery and it's cold. And because cold causes problems on the roadway to your tires as well. So taking all those things into consideration, go do that. And then I know that Aiden did it and I commend him for doing that. That was an awesome video that he made, trying to drive 24 miles an hour backwards right in front of 34 Fairview. That was brilliant. That was brilliant, Aiden. But the injuries don't match, and that's exactly right. Getting hit by something going 24 miles an hour that weighs, I don't even know how much a car weighs, guys. How much does a car weigh? I know it's a ridiculous amount,
I think
right?
6 or 7
Is it
tons is what her
right?
her car weighed. Yeah.
It's crazy. So then you do like the ARCA guys were saying, you do the math on that. That's physics, okay? You are not going to end up with one stinking injury to the back of your head and then these weird marks on your arm that resemble being bit by a dog, okay? Resemble, my opinion, being bit by a dog. And that's it. No bruising, no broken bones, no contusions, no lacerations, no. So that literally makes no sense. Why everybody on this other side of the platform that keeps preaching at me on Twitter X and writing to me every time I make a Karen Reed tweet telling me why I'm wrong, they really have no scientific leg to stand on here. Zero. All they have is Jen McCabe and her craziness on the stand with her repetitive nature of saying, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, which is total crap. And we all know it is because that never happened. So then that's all they've got. And I know all of you that are on Twitter X that constantly go to war with these Karen Reed haters for whatever reason. They have found that they hate her. They don't even know her. They bully her. They call her names. They make fun of her clothes. It's utterly insane. And this is now my segue into what we want to talk about here for a little bit tonight is that we teach our children at a very young age that you do not make fun of other people, that you do not bully other people. And you can put whatever word you want to put on it. Bullying's getting over, is it getting used, a little too much? Maybe. But if you are disparaging someone because they have a crooked nose or a missing tooth, like you like to do to Jen McCabe, and I'm not in favor of that either, by the way. I don't think Jen McCabe told the truth. I think she helped cover up a murder, but I don't need to make fun of her tooth. Okay. I got science on my side. I don't need to bully her and belittle her and say she looks like a horse face and go on my live streams and constantly put her down. I don't have to do that because I have science on my side. Okay. I have the fact that I can tell you that I know she lied. I know what a liar is. I can see a liar across a football field. I've been lied to many times. So I've been lied to in interviews with suspects, witnesses. I've been lied to by victims who don't want to get their friends in trouble. I can tell a lie. Okay. So you need to trust me on this or you don't. You don't have to believe me. I really don't care.
Wait,
But I'm
Kat,
telling you.
somebody's
Yes.
going to snip that and use that for propaganda because you said, wait, I can tell a lie. You can tell when
Oh,
someone's lying. Let's make
that's
sure we
right.
correct the record because that's going to be clipped and put out and snipped and on the internet and everywhere, right? Because this is how
Yes.
propaganda and smear campaigns work. We figured it out, and we're just trying to have a little educational session with everybody and show you what we're seeing that you may not be seeing. Read
That's
between the
right.
lines, right, JFK? Read between the lines.
And if I
Sorry
was
for
quick,
interjecting.
no, if I was quick on the flip here and I could just quickly go out and let you talk for even just let you go for 5 minutes. I could go and clip myself right now, put it on, make myself a little clip video of, and propaganda myself. I could show you how quick, but I can do it, but I'm not that fast. But I'll tell you what, I'll do it. And I'll show you when I come back from my surgery, when I'm live again, how easily you can clip a video and completely misrepresent someone and
Or
take them
a text
completely.
message that you're putting out there, or a DM or anything like that. Any of those documents, if you take it in a snippet out of
Yes.
context without the entirety of it. This is why lawyers, when they go to court, argue about what gets admissible and what is not, because they don't want part of the story going in. They need to make sure that it's not taken out of context, that the editing isn't kind of facetious. You ever watch reality TV, and did you ever see they don't show the face, but the person says something and it's kind of in a slightly different tone because it was edited in? They're not saying it out of their mouth. This happens. So the point is just kind of keep your eyes open and let everybody know that you're seeing it, and call it out. So I wanted to make a point. I just wanted to say this because Sean was blasted. Sean on the golf was blasted for misspeaking his words, kind of like you just did, Kat. And it got out there that he said, "Oh, it's justice for John O'Keefe if Karen Read is convicted," and that's not what he said. He was saying to the O'Keefe family, if she would get convicted, that would be justice for them. But it was taken out of context and blasted. So then last night, Turtle Boy had a little oopsie twice where he said Karen Read is guilty. And then he corrected himself immediately because we all misspeak, right? It's going from our brain to our mouth. Sometimes it doesn't come out quite as the way you want it to come out. Sometimes your thoughts aren't so as clear, or it's all jumbled and mushed together and you're missing words. That's normal. That's
and
human.
Emotions come into play too. This live streaming gig is not for the faint of heart. Being able to just come on this platform and start talking without a script, without practice, unedited, unscripted, like we are doing tonight, because we were going to talk more about Ellen Greenberg tonight. I had that all scripted out. I knew what I was going to say for the most part, but we're moving Ellen to tomorrow night because we really wanted to come on and address the hate that has been dumped on us because we chose to stand up for Sean and defend him and say our piece and let y'all know that who we are and what we're doing here, and hope that you don't believe every little thing you read on Twitter and X.
Right. Or every little thing that you're told, like in, Sean, let me finish that story with Turtle Boy. Sean put out a clip basically of it edited. So it just sounds like Karen Read's guilty. Karen Read's guilty. And everybody's in an uproar. People, did you not realize he was showing you what they're doing? They are projecting the things that they are doing. They are projecting on others and saying that they're doing. You have to get this is why they don't want you to go anywhere else and get your information, because they want it the way they want to feed it to you, and just almost like mass media. And we're not doing that. That's not what this is about. It is for you to have discussions and take in information yourself. You have a brain, you're very smart, and then you make the decision, the most informed decision that you can make. Okay? You can't listen to anybody because some people have agendas. I loved watching Turtle Boy last night, and he mentions that Sean said something derogatory about Meredith, Princess Turtle. Okay, I'm the warrior princess of snark. She can be the Princess Turtle. We're good. But the point is that that's not what Sean said. Nothing about her. Sean called her pal. I saw a tweet where somebody's like, "You made Nurse Kim cry, and you called Meredith pal in a condescending tone. He's done." I'm like, if that's the standard, make sure you're applying that to all your YouTube creators. Otherwise, you're joining the sea of hypocrisy that sees only turtle vision. Okay? So I'm just going to call it like I see it. I don't have anything against any of these people. I don't know them personally. I'm just going to call it like I see it. If you are saying somebody is doing something and you're doing it yourself 10 times fold, who are you to talk? I'm going to say it. So I'm sorry. And I don't care if he gets mad at me. I don't care if people come at me. I don't care if it's just 15 people watching our show. We don't care. You want to know something? And it's not about money. It's not about money at all. Okay? Because Sean, right, was charging 99 cents for his memberships when other people are charging upwards of $90. Okay? We have other sources of income. We're doing this as volunteers because we want to make a difference and do better. I believe that's what Sean's intentions are as well. You can believe whatever you want to believe. I have nothing against people making money. You give a service, you give your time, you are allowed to get paid for your time. You could be getting as much as Emily D. Baker is getting. I'm sure she's getting much more than $50,000 a month, Aiden. Sorry, she's got you beat. It doesn't really matter. That's not the point.
Right.
The point we're trying to make is when you become a slave to that dollar sign and you lose your integrity, that's when there's a problem.
That's right.
Okay. So if you happen to have less than 1,000 subs and you really want to make this YouTube your career, okay, and then you hook up with somebody and you get on a hot case, you know, you meet Turtle Boy and you're on the Karen Reed case and you now become one of the in boys, you know, like you're part of the cool club, and your subs go up to 30,000 and you're like, wow, I can do this. I can even rent a studio, and then an even bigger studio that costs $1,000 a month. Okay. That's great. But if your choice is integrity and doing the right thing, or staying out of a fight that you really shouldn't be in for the entire movement, that you want to talk about that you're for the movement, then stay out of the fight. But no, because God forbid you go against somebody that brought you those 29,000 subs. Because when you do that, now you have no studio, and now you don't have that money or that dream that you wanted. So now you have to pick integrity or money. You're a slave to money. You may not be obeying anybody, but you're obeying the money if that's how you're behaving. Okay? Let's all say something else. Don't play victims. Okay, don't be, we're defending ourselves. You are very much a part of this. Don't put this on Sean. Don't do the smear campaign and say, and put everybody against him, and that he's the one that's bringing down the Karen Reed movement. And the propaganda I heard about it, he's against the Karen Reed movement. He's trying to go against everybody and he's trying to bring it down. He's giving us transparency, people. This is what we ask for from our government, from our leaders. We want to know what the real thing. We don't want to be told a story and made to believe it and spoon fed it. We want to know the truth. We can handle the truth.
Amber,
So
I just want to interject one quick thing and then you can keep going, because you're doing great. And I love listening to you. I love listening to your thoughts. And I know that this has all been on your mind for the last 2 weeks, because Amber was actually told in one of the chats when she made a constructive criticism to, and I'm going to swear, so trigger alert, she was told to shut the fuck up. She was told she was a fucking idiot. I mean, these are not kind words, okay, people, because you want to give your opinion and you want to say something that maybe that person isn't going to necessarily like or agree with, but there's no reason to tell someone to shut the fuck up. Then close your chat. Okay. If you don't want anybody to give you constructive criticism, then close your chat. Don't have a chat. Because someone gives you, if they don't just give you all praise, that's ridiculous, because that's not what this is all about. This is about having honest debates. We can agree to disagree sometimes. We're not always going to like each other, but we don't have to be rude. We don't have to be disrespectful. That is not acceptable. So that being said, I understand why Amber is giving you her little educational rant right now, because this is Angry Bitch Club and we're the Angry Bees, and we're going to buzz for a little bit about some of the things that have been thrown our way the last 2 weeks. What I want to say about what Amber just said, and a little bit about what I put up here, what Ripper Jack is saying, welcome to America where capitalism exists. Make all the money you can while you can. Don't worry about the haters. Of course, absolutely. Like I said, Ripper Jack, if people want to start donating to Social Change Warriors, I'm not going to say no, but I'm personally not going to profit from it because I don't want to or need to. I would much prefer that the money goes to the campaign that we're trying. Like, for instance, if someone donated $100 to me tomorrow, I'm calling Ellen Greenberg's family and I'm telling them, I'm making flyers. I'm going to use this $100 and I'm coming to Pennsylvania. I'm going to use it to help me get there, and I'm going to make flyers and I'm going to hand them out to every single person on the street, because Ellen Greenberg needs justice. She has been dead since 2011, and the person who murdered her is walking free. Nobody in America should be okay with that. And any other woman out there who is currently dead because their husband or their boyfriend or their fiance murdered them and they're walking free as a bird, living their life, that's not okay. And we need to start standing for victims of unsolved murders. We absolutely have to do it. And thank God for Mizzy, who stood for Sandra Birchmore. And this brings me back to what I'm mad about, okay? What I'm mad about and why I went on to Aiden's chat and made some comments and why I've been in the Glares chat and LTL Media and Young Jerks and Mazza Media. I've been in all your chats. I've made positive comments. I've supported you guys from day one. I've done super chats. I have done nothing but be kind to you all. And then I started seeing this. I kept putting in my chat months and months ago. Why isn't anybody talking about Sandra Birchmore? Why isn't anybody talking about Justin Root? Why you guys live in Massachusetts? I live in Wisconsin and Florida.
Tape. You want some receipts? Grab the tape. Go ahead. Go
I
ahead,
will.
people. Look at the comments.
I will next week, but tonight I'm not showing you any receipts because I'm not a liar. I was accused of being a liar by Meredith today, Turtle Princess. I'm not a liar, Meredith. I'm a person who wants to call out crime and corruption. I'm not here to lie to you. I have no reason to lie to you. It doesn't behoove me to lie to you. It would be a waste of my time also, okay? So when I say a criticism or when I mention something in the chats, I'm not lying. I'm telling you the absolute truth or I'm telling you my opinion. Either way, it's not a lie. My opinion's not a lie. And if I make a statement that I say that this I was told this by someone or someone showed me this and I'm not ready to show you my receipts, you're not my boss. I don't beat to your drummer. I beat to my drummer. So when I'm ready to show you the receipts, I'll show you the gosh dang receipts. But don't freaking go on social media, Meredith, and call me a liar. Don't ever do that again because that is a lie, okay? You're lying about me lying, okay? Do you understand the hypocrisy and craziness of that? So don't do that again because I don't appreciate that. I've never been unkind to you, Meredith. I've never said one negative word to you. I've actually told you that I think you seem like a very nice person who cares about justice. But when you accuse me of lying on social media because you're supporting someone that I made a constructive criticism about with information that I got from a very reliable source, I used to be a journalist too. I was an award-winning police officer, Aiden, and I really have the receipts to prove that. I'm not just getting up here saying I'm an award-winning journalist or award-winning this, that, the other. I did win awards as a police officer. I just don't brag about it. I don't put it on my resume. I don't put it on my webpage. I don't need to, okay? But don't get up there and call yourself things you're not. Tell people to call you a doctor. It pisses me off. So that's when I go in your chat and I say, you're not a doctor. And yes, Jill Biden, she's a freaking doctor. She got her doctorate, okay, people? She was a college professor. The world has deemed, and not just the United States of America, not just our colleges, the world has deemed that if you go through the effort and the agony of what it takes to get a doctorate and a PH freaking D, you get to call yourself a doctor, by God, okay? And if you're not a doctor, if you didn't go to med school, if you didn't go to veterinary school, if you didn't get your doctorate or your PhD, you're not a fucking doctor. Okay, so enough with that. I'm tired of it. And I got pissed one day and I got sick of it. So I typed it in your chat box. You're not a doctor. And all your people came at me and I'm the terrible person and I'm not a fan and I'm this and I'm that. Good, fine. You know, come in my chat box. Tell me I didn't go to college. Tell me I'm not a cop because that's what a lot of your fans have done. And I did, and I am, and I was, not am anymore, but I was. And I don't have to show you my receipts because again, you're not my boss, but I will show you receipts for every damn thing I've ever said on my channel, everything I've ever put on any of my live shows. You want receipts? You're going to get a whole bunch of them. And it's going to be another 2-hour live show where I'm going to show you all my receipts. And then maybe all of you people that have chosen to hate on social change warriors when all we're trying to do is good and hate on me and hate on Amber, you'll just go away because that's what we would like you to do. We do not need you to be here. We don't need you on our channel. I don't need you on my Twitter X feed yakking at me anymore. I've had enough, okay? So this is what happens when nice people and kind people have enough. You judge us and you think because we're nice and we seem kind that we're just going to take all this bullshit and we're not going to live stream about it when we're on a live stream platform to do that, just that. So we will go back to
Can I just say one other thing, Kat?
Yes.
Me personally, listen, if I can be a little snarky, you know, I am the warrior princess of snark, but I'm not going to be disrespectful. I'm not going to curse at anybody. I'm not going to call them names. That's not what I'm going to do. And for me personally, if it's coming at me, we're putting ourselves on a platform. Don't do low blows. No kids, you know, don't be digging into something from 84 in somebody's past to put out there because now you want to do a smear campaign. It's been, listen, you're not a great journalist. It's been there since 84. Sorry, hun. But when you come for your own people, that's what got me fired up, okay? You're coming for your own people. I was watching one of Turtle Boy's lives and somebody just said, enough with the Sean stuff. And I know you're all sick of it. We are too. Okay. We're beating a dead horse, but we just want to make sure we set the record straight. You can't go out there and put all this propaganda out there and it's not true and not expect somebody to respond and say, let me set the record straight. All right. I don't care otherwise, but go in Turtle Boy's chat and say something he doesn't like leave the Sean stuff alone, or can we please move on from this? And you get kicked out and blocked on his site and called out. If you say to him, well, that's kind of hypocritical of you to say that when you did that, he calls you out on his site, or he threatens to blog about you. Okay. Or he does blog about you. Ask JFK and James Jackson. Apparently he wrote about them in 2017. It could be any one of us, all right? That's wrong. When you're calling out your own people that are there to support you, like there's somebody who made a suggestion to the Glairer. Hey, wouldn't it be nice if if you guys could, if possible, coordinate times and maybe we could help and to put somebody on blast for that? What are your standards? Because if those are your standards, you better apply them to everyone. You're not applying them to everyone because there's a turtle teat that you're sucking from and you don't want it to go dry. I'm sorry. You don't want it to go dry. And I don't care if you guys like me or don't like me from saying it. I'm telling you the truth. Glairer tried to stay out of it. You know, Aiden's pretty good at being coercive. Don't go for your own people. Stop. If you have a little tiff and you butt heads, people butt heads every day. Okay? That's cool. That's fine. It happens. We're humans. We work it out. You don't try to bring a mob using propaganda, slander, bullshit to try to cancel someone. It didn't work this time and it's not going to work. You got to stand up to this. You guys have to know what's right and wrong. We know what Turtle Boy is.
I have a segue for you. Okay. So Chrissy just put up, and hi, Chrissy, welcome, 8707. Welcome and glad you're here. So we want to cover both sides of this. That's what I want to say is that I respect Aiden. I respect every bit of journalism that he has done to uncover the dirty people in Canton. You cannot find that everywhere. And so I've already told him that. I've written to him personally. He and I back and forth on X. I've told him that I respect him. I respect his journalism, but I'm also allowed to have criticism. He and I are on different sides of the aisle politically. I've never brought up that because I don't need to. I don't care. I don't care about who any of you voted for. It's all okay. It's your own personal business, and it's my own personal business. And when the nights when I do my political shows, don't come because I'm not going to say things you like. I'm going to say things that have to do with my progressive social work side and the programs I care about and the policies I care about. And I'm going to call out every last criminal that is about to be in a cabinet, whether they're a Democrat or Republican. I don't care what party they are. If they committed a crime like Matt Getz in Florida, trafficking teenagers, everybody in Florida knows it. It's been covered up for years. There's so many receipts. One of his best friends is already in jail and took a plea deal. So people, listen, when I call out some of these people, don't get offended. I'm not calling out because they're a Republican. I'm not calling out because they're Make America Great Again, which to me is a whole new party because I have old school friends that are old school Republicans and they don't agree with a lot of what's going on with Trump. So there's two parties now on the right. There's MAGA and there's old school Republicans. I'm not calling Matt Getz out because there's a Republican. I don't even believe Matt Getz is a Republican. I believe he's one of those slimy, scummy people who found a way to make money and figured out he can talk and he can get on a platform and yak, yak, yak and convince people to believe him. And now all of a sudden he's going to be the head of the Department of freaking Justice. Are you kidding me? A guy who's being investigated. So people.
Hypocrisy. Everywhere, the hypocrisy.
Yes. Now that's all I'm doing for politics tonight. I just wanted to remind you all, I always want all of you here. It doesn't matter to me who voted for. I will always stand up for everybody who has been a victim of a crime, or if your family is a victim of a crime. It has nothing to do with politics. Crime is bipartisan. Corruption in Indiana right now is GOP. Corruption in Massachusetts right now appears to be a lot of Democrats.
Democrats, yeah.
So there's really no rhyme or reason to this, right, guys? The Republicans, the Democrats, the independents, the fake politicians, because if you really think a lot of these people get into this for you and for policy, please, please, guys, go back science class, take an ethics class, and then revisit all your favorite politicians, because most of them aren't what they say they are. They're just opportunists trying to get you to buy their song and dance so they can get into politics and run their life and get to be a narcissist and talk on TV, talk in Congress, talk big men on campus. That's what's going on with most of these people in politics. So you got to be smart about it. But I have never once gotten into any kind of politics with Aiden. I've just criticized him on things that I don't care for because I'm in his chat, because it's live and I can do it. Okay, if he doesn't like it, he doesn't like it. But come at me respectfully and kindly. So Chrissy says here, Sean on the Golf's last YouTube is 99% hateful. So let's talk about that a little bit. Can you give me more examples, Chrissy, of what you mean? Because as far as I know, a lot of the YouTubers have been hateful right back. Okay, so who is right and who is wrong?
Let me just say something. It has not been right back. They're playing victims that Sean attacked them out of nowhere. Oh my gosh, that's not true. Okay, there were jabs made. Aiden told you he hasn't really liked Sean since 2023. He told Phelps that don't listen to him. He doesn't really know what he's talking about. He bullshits. Okay. They've been throwing jabs at him for a while. No, mostly Aiden, okay, was throwing jabs at him. He had a bad day that one day, Sean, because finally, like, sometimes you can push somebody so many times and they're just like, something sets them off, right? And then they set off a bomb and they're like, all their emotions come out at once. I know that happens to me sometimes. You hold it in, you hold it in, you hold it in. But for people to then go on a smear campaign about he put out misinformation about Proctor, please, people, please, you don't believe they were so offended that they had to put out an entire stream about the responsibilities of YouTubers, not even one that claims to be a journalist, one that claims to be ex-DEA with 28 years experience and friends that are in law enforcement and some inside sources. Okay? He's not claiming that he's a journalist, that he has verified 5 sources. When you read an article in the New York Times, there are sources for that. Are they all listed? Are all the receipts always there? Now, real journalists, like real old school journalists, they verify their sources. They have to have a second one. They have to have this. They have to have this before the editor will approve it, right? You know this, Kat.
Yes.
But this is a new age. This is social media. And so Turtle Boy has his own type of journalism. It's not old school journalism, clearly. So there's things that checks and balances that he doesn't do. If you want to do, like, his editor would not approve a lot of these things, okay? But then you have Sean, who's like, he's not claiming to be a journalist. He's claiming to be like, this is the intel that I got. I'm ex-DEA. I worked for the federal government for 28 years. I was a cop before that. I have some intel. I have some intuition. I have knowledge to share with you all. I can give you my read on this situation. And here's what has been told to me. Y'all watch that date that Proctor was fired after all his union appeals are up. Okay? Just watch. We'll see who's right. But we're going to put out something that says about him having misinformation. That was a shot fired. So he's going to defend himself. So please, like, I just want to say that it's going tit for tat, and nobody knows where it began, which came first, the chicken or the egg. We don't know. And everybody should calm it down. Let's simmer down. But you know what? They got some hard-headed men, and you got people poking each other, and there's a lot of things boiling over right now. It happens. I'm just trying to say to you, it is not that Sean attacked them and they're all defending themselves. They're just as much a part of this. Just as much, if not more. I don't believe Sean started the fire. He may have added a little gasoline to it, but he didn't start it. And I'm going to call it like I see it, right? There were things that Sean said and did that I was like, Sean, I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. Don't bring kids in. I don't care if Aiden talks about everybody else's kids. Don't stoop to that level. That's my opinion. He can do what he wants to do.
Right.
I'm going to call it out when it's wrong. Right is right, wrong is wrong. And if you can't stand up and say that without fear of retaliation or being bullied or being harassed, there's something wrong in this country. If you can't say your opinions, even if it's completely the opposite of someone else without getting attacked, it's wrong. We need to be able to have a discourse. We need to be able to have conversations without calling people names, without calling them liars for no reason. Just have a conversation. Even if we've had conversations about politics,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we've come with what we think
Religion. We've had conversations about religion, politics, you name it. We've talked about it. I want to bring up, hi, Tammy. Thank you for being here tonight. I thought you said drama isn't for this room. So drama is sort of overused. Okay. I'm 61, Tammy. So we didn't call it that back in my day, right? There's a lot of slang words now that are used, show me the tea, show me your receipts. I mean, I'm trying to keep up with them all because we didn't talk like that when I was growing up. We just talked with normal words, normal language. We had a few things that we used, a few little jargons that were brought up off of songs and off of rock songs that we listened to in the 70s and 80s. And, there was like some things like, oh man, that's cool. Or everybody always said man all the time. I still do that because it's an old habits die hard thing. I still say that's cool. It's an old habits die hard thing. So now I'm trying to get used to all this new stuff. So help me out here, Tammy. What is it that you mean? Because we're just trying to be transparent. For the last 2 weeks, because I apparently had the audacity to invite Sean on the Gulf on live stream with me on Calling Out Corruption because I wanted to introduce him to Ed. I had no clue what was going on. I was traveling again. I'm constantly back and forth from Madison to Florida, so I'm always on the go. I was in California for a while. I didn't know that Aiden and Sean were having a beef. I really didn't know what was going on. Sean actually texted me out of the goodness of his heart and said to me, because he respects what I'm trying to do as former law enforcement, that I'm trying to call out crime and corruption, that I truly believe that we as community members can do it. We don't have to constantly wait for other law enforcement or for other government officials to step in. As you have seen in Massachusetts with all of your amazing standouts for Sandra Birchmore and Karen Reed and Just En Route and Enrique, is it I forgot his last name. Is it Delgado?
Enrique Delgado Garcia.
Thank you. I didn't want to screw that up for his family's sake, and rest in peace to all of them. You have been amazing.
And remember who broke that to you guys first. I just want to say the story that many of them are covering that said putting Sean down for the misinformation. Just remember who broke that. Okay.
Yeah. And then again, I don't like this competition that's going on about breaking who breaks what first. It doesn't matter. As long as corruption's being called out and somebody's covering it and recovering it and recovering it so we can get more people involved and more people doing standouts. That's all that matters. So I'm not trying to bring drama into my room tonight. I'm just telling y'all what's been going on for 2 weeks. I have had drama brought to me because people have accused me of purposely bringing Sean on my show to get clicks and to be a grifter and to be an opportunist. And I don't appreciate that because that is completely false. So when you lie about me and you put my name out on social media and you associate it to a lie, I'm not going to sit back. I've waited 2 weeks because I wanted to let it sink in. I wanted to think about it. I didn't want to just come on here and say things maybe I didn't mean or get up in my feelings, as you kids say. But I spent 2 weeks thinking about this and continuing to take the heat. I had more heat today on my Twitter X page and on my Facebook page. So that's fine. I just bring it if you got to bring it. If that's all you have better to do with your life. But I'm not bringing drama here. I'm bringing truth and honesty and transparency. I like Sean as a former law enforcement officer. I don't know him that well yet as a person, but I think I will like him as a person as well as I get to know him better because he had the courage to say to me in a text message and asked me to call him. And I did so. And he said, you don't have to have me on your show. This drama is going on now. There's the word for you, drama. And now I'm in this back and forth now with Aiden, and the other content creators are coming at me now because they're sticking up for Aiden. So if you bring me on your show, you may have fallout from this. And I said, so be it. That's okay. I don't care. I'm bringing you on the show because I want to get to know you better. I want to tell you about the Ellen Greenberg case. I want to talk to you about Ed Byers. I want to introduce you to him and tell you about the corruption that's going on in Indiana in several counties. Now, the new breaking news, which I will cover tomorrow night, before we talk about Ellen again, is that there was another criminal that was just elected to his county board position in another county not far from Clark County, where the corrupt sheriff was embezzling money and stealing from the people of Clark County, Indiana. Now we've got another guy who was just elected to government who sexually assaulted his own child, and he's in jail right now. And while he's in jail, he got elected. Are you listening to this? This is utter insanity, people. And this was on your precious Fox News. Those of you that love your Fox News, I don't like it, but that's my opinion. It was actually on there where I got the story first. So I'm going to cover that tomorrow night for a little bit. And Ed already knows about it. Ed's been keeping me up because Ed is my ears and eyes on the ground in Indiana now. My goal is to find someone like Ed in every state and tell me about your corruption. Tell me what's going on. Let me help you spread the word. I can't go out and arrest people. I don't have arrest powers anymore. I'm not a private investigator. I don't have my license for that anymore either. I used to in Colorado. But that's another thing I never even told you guys I did. I've done a lot of jobs. So what I'm trying to say is that the purpose of Social Change Warriors is to help call out corruption and crime, is to help you get your community stirred up and excited, and to get people sharing the news and to do the standouts like you've all been doing in Massachusetts. We need to stand out in Pennsylvania for Ellen Greenberg. We need to stand out in Colorado for Suzanne Morphew, whose husband is still walking around free. And in my opinion, he killed her. And I can go over all of her. We'll have a special show just for Suzanne because Suzanne has no justice. So I've just reached a point in my life where I'm tired of watching criminals get away with crime. And if my only thing I can do now, since I'm no longer law enforcement and I don't get to work for the FBI, I'm too old, I don't qualify, then I can't just read murder books every day. I love reading my murder books. Don't get me wrong. I love watching true crime with all of you. I love watching Dr. Emily cover these cases, and Melanie Baker and the lawyer, and who else is on? Oh, there's that lovely lady in South Carolina. Chat. Lovely people in our chat tonight. What is her name? Laura? Is it Laura Lee or just a wonderful human being? That woman is fantastic. And so I love doing that, but I don't get to feel like I'm making a difference. And for me, I've always wanted to do that in every career I've ever had. I've needed to do something where I feel like I'm making a difference. So if I can live stream about crime and corruption and help Ed and help Sean and help Aiden and help all of you call out crime in Massachusetts, help Ed Byers call out crime in Indiana, call out some crime in my own state in Wisconsin and in Florida where I live part-time, then I'll feel like I'm doing something. Because just watching the trials for me and reading about murder in murder books isn't enough anymore. I needed to come out of retirement and I needed to do this. So I'm really happy that you all want to join us. Those of you that do on Wednesdays and Thursdays, you're always welcome. If you ever want to come on the platform, Tammy, KD, Chrissy, Deidre, any of you that have been here tonight, we have the Ripper, all of you that joined us tonight live. I really appreciate you. If you want to talk, you have a platform. I will give it to you. I can close down and run a screen. I can run a PowerPoint for you. I can run video clips for you. I'm pretty techie now. I've learned through this the hard way. So Tammy, that was a very long answer to your short question, but no, I am not trying to bring drama. I'm going back to calling out crime and corruption tomorrow night, and I'm not going to address this again until I get all my receipts in order to show all of you people that have been hating on me for the last 2 weeks that you don't know what you're talking about. And so
let's hope Tammy comes back, because she thinks this is the airport and she had announced her departure. So maybe she'll watch this on the replay and get your message. But that's fine. You can choose to watch what you want to watch. You can choose not to watch what you don't want to watch. You're welcome back anytime. That's all.
Absolutely.
We're not here for drama either. We're just going to set the record straight. We're just going to be transparent. We're going to tell it like it is. And honestly, I feel a little bit better. That's kind of what this is about. I needed to get it off my chest. It builds up inside of you, when it's constantly, and you're seeing all of this injustice and just things that are wrong. We would be hypocrites if we didn't speak out, because that is what we say. See something, say something, right?
Right.
And if we're seeing a bullying that is beyond just comedy and
parody,
maybe even bullying the parody or bullying the bully.
Yeah.
When it gets to that point, somebody's got to say something. It's got to end, and If more people would say it and stick together, because you guys got to understand, they divide. They like to divide and conquer us as people. Stick together. Stop going
Yeah.
against your brother, your enemy, your neighbor. We are all free Karen Reed, but why are we fighting?
Right. It makes
Because
zero
two
sense. It makes zero sense. Everybody that actually agrees on something, and about 30% of us are on a different side of the aisle from the other 70% of you that appear to be following Aiden, because Aiden used to do a lot of political, which was totally his right to do that, and his political leanings were to the right. So most of his crowd was to the right. There's not many Democrats that are going to come into a chat and be hammered. Not many people want to do that. They want to go into a chat with more like-minded people where they can all be kumbaya and get along. There's not many of us that are willing to go into a chat that leans a certain direction so far that you feel uncomfortable and that you feel not welcomed. So Aiden had a huge following of aisle to the right when he was doing his politics. And I respect him for the times when he's mentioned, I'm not talking politics anymore. I just want to help free Karen Reed and get justice for John O'Keefe. And I appreciate that he did that, because there were 30% of us in his chat that were not about his politics, and we didn't really necessarily want to hear about it. So I'm glad, because if you're trying to be a journalist or you're trying to be an activist or an advocate for something or somebody, then it's bipartisan, because there is no politics involved in trying to call out a murder and trying to call out murderers and get an innocent woman released. That's bipartisan. So we're all getting along. We're not talking politics. We're all getting along. We believe in free Karen Reed. We believe in the movement. We believe she did not kill John O'Keefe. Now, why is this all happening? Why am I have been tweeting free Karen Reed? If you want to go and prove me wrong, go on my Twitter X. I have been constantly tweeting tweets about Karen Reed and John O'Keefe from my past police experience, from my social worker experience, from my journalism experience. All my tweets come with expert opinions. Go
can
back
I
and
can I
look.
tell you something funny that like you do go ahead. You have the receipts, right? When we posted about, hey, come join us in a Karen, and this isn't just Karen Reed. This movement is not just about one case. This is about corruption and justice and getting justice all around this country and around the world. But Karen Reed is a big case that we both followed, right?
Right.
And somebody was, why are you putting this on the page for the Karen Reed page? You guys aren't about, your show isn't all Karen Reed. It's not about Karen Reed. When have you even talked about Karen Reed? So I was like, you know what? I don't really have time to do this, but I'm gonna take the time to list every show where Karen Reed was discussed, the dates and who was on and the standout. And I wrote that back to the person. They didn't say have anything else to say, but hey, here, go check it out. Go ahead. We've been talking about it.
Right.
So I just wanted, put that out there, Kat, because this we're not doing anything
And
other than trying to do good.
right, exactly. And I've had people say to me, you're only doing this because of Karen Reed, John O'Keefe, and you want to be included in that club, which is utterly ridiculous. I'm 61 years old. I don't need to be in a club. I don't need to be in any club but my own. The Angry Bitch Club on Wednesday nights, that's my club. And on Thursday nights, my club is calling out corruption. I'm not trying to be friends with the Glare, any of these people. I don't have anything against them. They don't care about me one way or the other. They've already reminded me that my channel is meaningless. They've told me my channel is dumb, stupid. I was told my channel is stupid. So then what I did was I posted all the faces of all the women who have died of domestic violence that I have shown on my live stream since August. And I asked them, are these women stupid? And that was my only reply. So sometimes you just got to write back in the best, most respectful way possible. Take the highest road you can take, but sometimes you can't take the highest road because people are coming at you in mean, spiteful, despicable ways. And there is no high road for that. Sometimes you have to come back with a couple jabs to the left and the right because you don't have a choice anymore. You can't always be freaking nice. Sometimes you have to get down and dirty with these people that are just as equally nasty as the nastiest people you've ever met in your life. So I want to always take the high road, but when I can't, then I'll come back with something like, okay, you call me stupid, you call my show dumb, you call my show stupid. Here's the faces of all the women that I've shown since August who are dead now because their husbands killed them and none of them have justice. So if that's stupid to you, then move along. That's fine. I'll see you later. it doesn't matter to me if I'm not here for fame. I'm here to get people arrested. I'm here to help call out corruption and put it in the media and put it on street corners and get people to protest, whatever we can do to get people arrested who are not arrested, who killed someone. That's what we're trying to do here. So all the hate that's been thrown at me, I've tried to come back with logical explanations for you all. But it's so hypocritical because half of you have said to me, well, you're not following Karen Reed. You're just a grifter. You're just an opportunist. Oh, you only came on here to follow Karen Reed. Well, which is it, people? Did I only come on here to follow Karen Reed, or am I not covering Karen Reed? So what is your problem? Okay. And like Amber said, we have covered at least 7 victims of crime since August, and we have repeatedly brought updates to you and told you more about them. We have introduced you to Ed Byers, who is calling out crime in Indiana. We introduced you to Anne Marie Grant, who is calling out crime because her brother was murdered in Reno, Nevada. And that was our very first live stream where we might have mentioned Karen Reed and John O'Keefe because of similarities in the corruption, but the show was about Anne Marie and her foundation. And I can show you that I do something that most of the live streamers don't do. I'm ridiculously organized because that's just in my DNA. And I have a slide deck for every show I've done since August because it helps keep me on time. It helps keep me on track. It gets a little emotional in here sometimes when I see hate in my chat, but I don't want to shut it down. I want to let you say it. And I don't like losing my train of thought, which happens when you're 61. This happens when you're any age, but especially when you turn 61, you really start to lose your train of thought more often. So I love my slide decks because they are a representation of my work. I have my research in there. I have my references in there, my receipts in case someone comes at me and
You're
says,
going to show
where did you
your
find
slide
that?
deck tonight? Are you
Yeah.
going to show your slide deck tonight?
Do we have it?
Yeah, it's in the green room. That's the only way I can do it, unfortunately.
Yes, that's right. And I'm not at a computer because I'm at my dear friend Kathy's house.
Oh, it won't let you do it that
Let me
way?
see. I'm going to try. Let me see if I can get, yeah, I should be able to get to the green room. Hang on. Yes, I can.
Say,
So
hold, please.
anyway, people, I make these slide decks because I like visuals. I'm a visual learner. So I like to have a slide deck for every live I do, even if it's a short one, even if it's only got 4 or 5 slides. But some of my decks have been 30 slides long when I'm calling out corruption, or with Ed when we're trying to teach you about the crime that's going on in Indiana right now. So I do a slide deck for every one of my shows. And then when, if there happens to be, like this was the last, when I post, but let me see if I can try to move that off. Let's see. Whoops. There we go. So this was the slide deck for my very first live. And this is you can go ahead, Amber. We'll go through it pretty quick. I just introduce myself every week. I use the slide deck for that. I like to let you guys know what our logo is. So I want to read you this poem because this really inspired me this week to do this live. You are gonna hit a point where you are no longer interested in convincing people that how you feel and who you are is valid, and decide that as long as you know your truth and what works for you, that's all that matters. And that's the best advice I could give to any 18-year-old kid starting out right now, right? That is one of the nicest and beautiful poems that I've seen in a while. And I have it referenced at the back, but it's hard to see on here, but it's on my Twitter account. It shows you where I got this from. It's beautiful. It's poignant.
ProjectHappiness.org.
That's what I thought. I love Project Happiness. They are so great. That's what this is. So share this out on your socials. Everybody needs to take this to advice and to heed and to remember this, because we spend so much time in our freaking lives, and it's already short enough as it is, trying to please other people, trying to worry about what other people think of us, or what they think of our jobs or our kids or our house or our car, or how much money we make, or what we do for volunteer work, or what we do for a living, or what we say. We spend so much time with other people in our brains. And that's where that saying came from. Don't let people rent. What is it? Don't let people stay rent free in your brain. Guys, don't do that anymore. Take this advice. This is beautiful advice from Project Happiness. I know I'm going to continue to try. I've been trying for a number of years now to take this advice. So anyway, I just have a few things that I added to this deck because I wanted to share them with you. And this is just a new poster that Amber and I are creating. We're still editing it. I'm not done with it yet, but it's going to look a little like this, and we're going to print them out and hand them out and put them at libraries and try to get people to come and be part of our calling out corruption. So we're working on that right now, and we'll have that done soon. And then I'll
I
send it out.
I particularly like the warrior one, like a warrior
Yeah,
princess of
yeah,
Snark.
yes,
Thank you for including that.
and we were trying to name Amber, weeks ago now. We asked for you guys' help because I didn't want to just call her my assistant. I didn't want to call her a manager of anything or the director of anything. So now she has her own title, which I absolutely love, Warrior Princess of Snark. It's fantastic, and it works good because I have to stick to my social work roots and my ex-cop roots and my journalistic roots. So I can't really do the snark, but I can have Amber for that. And that's why Gracie Allen and George Burns were so famous, because one was serious and one was funny. And there's been a lot of great duos in this world where one had to be the straight man and one had to be the funny man. So that's how Amber and I are going to roll. So that'll be our new poster that we're going to put out, email out to people, and I'll put it on my webpage. My webpage is down right now. I have to redo it because it was all about my teaching and my classes that I was teaching. So it's not really relevant to social change warriors as we are today. It's what I've been up to for the past 5 years. So my website is currently down, but there will be a file where if you're interested to see what I've been up to for 5 years, it will, all the articles that we wrote and all of the pre-recordeds that we did will still be there. They'll just be in their own little window with the new website featuring calling out corruption and the Angry Bitch Club's content. So thanks for that. Okay, Amber, we're just gonna fly through here now. Oh, this is just funny. I saw this today from a lady I follow on Twitter. She said, I've decided to make this permanent, just like my resting bitch face. And I thought, oh my gosh, I have to invite this woman to come to the Angry Bitch Club on Wednesdays. Bitchalante, being mean only to people who deserve it. Because we always preach kindness here at Social Change Warriors. It's always important to be as kind as you possibly can and to take the high road. But if someone is not allowing you to take the high road because they're being so mean and so nasty to you, then you might not have a choice but to be mean straight back to them and give them some of their own medicine. Sometimes that's just what you have to do in this world. But try to always take the high road, please.
Talking about nicknames, and I like the Bitchalante and Warrior Princess of Snark. I also have another one for Sean because Turtle Boy is daddy, but Sean's gonna be Poppy. Okay.
Okay, Sean, if you're watching, we hope you're okay. We hope you're okay with Poppy. But if you're having your evening tea, remember I told you have some tea in the evenings because it calms and relaxes you. I said that on one of our last chats together. Everybody needs to drink tea at night before they go to bed because it's very calming and relaxing. Just all of you that are stressed and angry about this case and about everything that's been going on the last 2 to 3 weeks, just get yourself a nice hot cup of tea and read some poetry or listen to some sports or whatever you need to do to take your mind off of all of this that's going on, because most of it we can't do it.
Or come on the Angry Bitch Club and vent, and honestly, I feel so much lighter.
Yes.
And I know I didn't mean to bring drama, but I just needed to set the record straight and just say, hey, enough.
Yeah.
So it feels good. So if you want to do that too, you can always come on here and get it out.
Tell us what happened to you. Give us your pain, and we'll take it, and we'll try to snark about it. Amber will snark about it. So this is a song that I love to listen to, and I played it for my friend Kathy tonight. And I wanted to play just a few minutes of it. I'm sure I'll get a strike, but I don't think it'll kick me off forever because I'm not going to play the whole thing. But we'll play it at the end.
Do you want to do? I don't know if you want to do that. I don't know all of the YouTube
we can wait. I'll look into it. I think if I only play it for a couple seconds and I'm using it as an education platform, so I think nobody's going to care. But
should we try it?
We can wait. We can wait. Let me check into a little more tonight. I need to learn a little more about YouTube strikes. I have a small strike on one of my something I put music in, and it's nothing that's causing me any pain. It's just a song I paid to use, but for some reason it came up as a strike. So yeah, I'll look into it before we play it. So you can leave it here in the deck and you can just go forward to the next to the next slide. So this is Anne Marie Grant. She was my guest on the very first Calling Out Corruption before Amber joined us. I don't know if you were at this live, Amber, but I
watched it on a replay.
Yeah, I met Anne Marie via the Karen Reed. She believes Karen Reed is innocent too, and I met her via Karen Reed. She used to be in quite a number of Aiden's chats. She was a turtle writer, and for a while in his chats. So I met her that way, and then she told me about her brother, and I invited her to come on and tell us about her brother. So my very first live stream had absolutely nothing to do with Karen Reed and John O'Keefe. So for those of you that were hammering about me being an opportunist and a grifter and all the other things you said about me this week, this is my receipt for you. I won't bring any more tonight. I have a lot more that I will bring because I just want to put you all to rest and be done with this craziness of trying to bring down social change warriors with every little word you say, because you really can't, because I've never done anything disingenuous in my life, much less for social change warriors or about social change warriors. So Anne Marie is a lovely woman. She has started, I'm going to fly through this really quickly because we only have 10 minutes tonight. I wanted to keep this to an hour and a half. So she started a foundation with Just on Roots family and a couple other families. And I don't know the names of all the other families, but at some point I will get them and I will put them on at the end of one of our other live streams just to do an update of what they're up to. But they started a coalition of impacted families, members who have lost a loved one during an interaction with law enforcement together, and they are working towards advancing meaningful legislation changes. So they're working on policy and changing laws in Washington. And there's a whole group of them, and they all lost a loved one during what they consider to be a police brutality situation. So that's who we had on our first live for Calling Out Corruption, because we wanted to call out the corruption in Reno, Nevada, where her brother was killed in police custody. And that should have never happened. He was having a mental health crisis. He should have been taken to the hospital. I'm going to repost the link to this live on my Twitter X and on my Facebook and on my Instagram. So if you know anybody that wants to watch this and support her and support all of the other families, including Just on Roots family and this amazing coalition that they have. This is Anne Marie's brother, Thomas Purdy. He was young. He had his whole life ahead of him, and he was having a mental health crisis. And because the police in Reno apparently don't have a clue what to do with someone who's having a mental health crisis, they abused him. They put him in what's called a hog tie situation, which is completely not even legal in most states anymore. It's not used. I actually called my former police department, and I called the Madison Police Department, and I called my police departments in my Volusia County area, and they all said no, that is not used. We do not use that. That is inhumane. And I appreciated that they told me that, because I had a feeling that was the case, but I wanted to get proof. So I made all those phone calls because I wanted to let Anne Marie know that that was completely wrong, what they did to her brother. It was police brutality. Why they all didn't lose their jobs, why charges weren't brought, I do not understand. Her family has no justice for his death whatsoever. So if you care about justice for these families, go check out their website, check out their foundation, their coalition, please. I would really appreciate it. So the other thing we put up during her live, there's just a couple more slides, I think, Amber. Yeah, you can go forward. This is just more about hog tying, which if you want to understand what they did, you please watch our episode, watch it on the replay. I will attach it to all my social media tomorrow, and feel free to watch it. So you can just go on through, Amber. I want to get to the end. I just do a little education on what hog tying is. So this is Jennifer Faribault-Doulos. This is the reason why I went back on Twitter. This is really the primary reason why I decided to live stream, because I am just absolutely sick and tired of seeing women who have been murdered by their husbands or boyfriends or ex-husbands receive no justice in this country. Domestic violence is up. The numbers are up. 1 in 4 women will be or have been a victim of domestic violence. Those are the statistics. The statistics do not lie. These are researchers that spend tons of time finding out who has been a victim. They go to domestic violence shelters. They find out from hospitals, And they gave me this stat. This is an epidemic. Okay. We are in an epidemic right now of murder, and domestic violence is costing hospitals in our country millions of dollars. Women coming in with broken arms, broken legs, broken noses, contusions, concussions from people that are supposed to love them. So this is why I started live streaming to all of you people out there that accused me of nefarious behavior. Go away. I do not want to see you on my channel. I don't want to see you on my Twitter or my Instagram or my Facebook. I am here to call out corruption and to call out crimes and to get people arrested who murdered someone. And especially, I'm here to look out for victims of domestic violence who are still alive and who need our help and our support because they go through years of trauma, PTSD, years of needing social workers and psychologists to get through what they've been through, because it's not just the beatings, it's psychological. Their checking accounts have been closed, they've been removed from their families and friends for years, they're not allowed to be interactive really with their children other than just to feed them and mother them. The husband wants total control over all decisions with the children. Women who live in domestic violence households are prisoners. And no matter what you say as a friend or a family member or what you try to do, only they can remove themselves from this. It's just not something you can talk them into, because they have children with these men and they love these men. And then they end up dead, like Jennifer Farber Dulus, and her body is still missing. So please remember that this woman's body is still missing because nobody did enough to put this guy away in time. And he got to unlive himself, and he never told us where she is. So we're going to keep standing for her. And then I believe Sandra Birchmore was who I talked about next in my first live, that we were going to keep standing for Sandra, because at that time when I did my first live, we were one of the only people talking about Sandra Birchmore. Mizzy was talking about Sandra Birchmore. Some people in Stoughton were talking about Sandra Birchmore, but the live streamers covering Karen Reed weren't. I was the only person for weeks that put hashtag justice for Sandra Birchmore in any of those chats. And I wish I would have taken screenshots now, but I didn't think I needed to. I didn't think bullies were going to come after me and accuse me of doing something that I haven't done or that I didn't do. So this is where I get upset and worried that if you're in this for justice and you're in this for victims, then why weren't you calling this out in your own state of Massachusetts? Why were you only focusing on John O'Keefe? He was not the only dead person in your state. Sandra Birchmore died in Canton. John O'Keefe died in Canton. Why was he getting all the attention? Sorry, John, nothing against you, but this young girl was domestic violence victim for years. She was groomed by police officers. Where were the live streams about her? And then lo and behold, after this live stream aired where I talked about Sandra Birchmore, one of the first to do that, lo and behold, he gets arrested. Matthew Farwell finally gets arrested after all that time because of the FBI, because of some good people who finally decided enough is enough. We're arresting this total and complete slime bag. Then all of a sudden, Mizzy gets invited to go on live streams. Then all of a sudden, everybody's talking about Sandra Birchmore. Then all of a sudden, her hashtag is viral. Why wasn't her hashtag viral before that? Why wasn't there a call for her death to be resolved and not ruled a suicide and ruled a murder way before? These are the kind of things that I don't like, because to me, they're disingenuous. If you are about justice, if you're about calling out crime, then call it out for everybody, not just the people that have the most attention, because that's where you're going to get the most clicks and that's how you're going to make money.
Bingo. That's what, because you're calling it out, whether it's 3 people that are looking at it or 3,000 or 300,000. It doesn't matter. Her life matters. Everyone matters equally. Can I say something about that really quickly? I know we're running out of time. We all love Karen Reed. We all support Karen Reed. We support all of these women that Kat is talking about and finding justice for them. But every single one of them is just as important. Okay? So if doxing Karen Reed, for example, is so bad in your eyes, doxing Jane Doe or doxing random citizen is just as bad. Okay? We are all important. We are all equally important. So what's good for one is good for the other. Not one of us is a different class. And I just wanted to make that clear because I care as much about Karen Reed as I care about the person in the chat that got called out by on a live stream for no reason or got doxxed. I care about everyone's children. So Sean, don't talk about anyone's children. Don't talk about Aiden's children. Okay? Aiden, stop talking about Kate Peters' children then, please, because her children matter too. That's all I'm trying to say. We can't pick and choose who we're going to elevate to be good to. We need to be decent human beings to everybody and call it out for everybody, whether it's convenient for us at that time or not. I just needed to add that. I'm sorry.
That's right. And thank you. Thank you very much, Amber. You can go ahead to, I believe, Ellen Greenberg. Oh, no, this is Sonia Massey. Where's the public outcry and the support for this young woman who is having another mental health crisis situation? Yes, he's in jail, but there still should be an outcry about how this even happened in the first place, the training that this officer received, who hired him, what was his background before this, what else had he been into? Everybody that is a victim of police brutality or dirty cops or dirty government deserves justice. That's it. And that's what we're doing here in Social Change Warriors. And I'm re-showing you the slide deck from my first live, not because I had to, but because I wanted to. I wanted to remind everybody about the people that we have been talking about. And I update you every week on what's happening with the people that we're continuing to stand for. Sadly, I have 3 new cases that were brought to my attention this week. One involves a missing person about 50 miles, 60 miles from my house in Florida. She's been missing for almost 2 years. From what I can tell, she was murdered by the father of her child. The father of her child and her child are missing from the family. He has custody of the child and no one in the family knows where they are. So they haven't seen their granddaughter, their niece, their cousin. This little girl's been missing now for almost a year. She's with the father who, in my opinion, murdered this young woman. So we're going to talk about her tomorrow night, and I'm going to let you know a little bit about her case after I finish talking about Ellen. And then there's another case I was just told about, also involves a domestic violence murder. So now we have 2 new women to add to our platform that we will keep track of and give you updates on. Ellen Greenberg, I was hashtagging Justice for Ellen Greenberg in every single live streamer that I was in about while I was following the Karen Reed case. I was trying to enlighten some of you that there are more victims in places near you. Sandra Birchmore was right down the street from you guys. She was abused in Stoughton and she died in Canton. And Ellen Greenberg is just a state over from you in Pennsylvania and Philadelphia. And I've been hashtagging justice for her the entire time that I've been online, since I got back on Twitter back in like March. So I'm standing for these women. They are victims. They have no resolution. There's no justice for their families. This is what we are doing at Social Change Warriors for all of you that didn't know or that wanted to bully Amber and myself for the past 2 weeks. You can go ahead, Amber, with the last. I think there's only one slide left. And this was an end of watch that I wanted to point out because this gentleman was going after traffickers, people that were trafficking young girls and pedophiles, and he was killed. So I wanted to give him an end of watch, a moment of silence on my first live stream and thank him for his service. Thank you to every law enforcement officer that does their job the way they were trained, what they were called to do, because every good officer I've ever worked with, every decent, honorable officer, it's a calling. Any job that you do is probably a calling. I really believe that most of us, any career we have is something we're interested in, whether you're a chef, a nurse, a chauffeur, a doctor, a lawyer, a YouTube streamer now, a content creator. It's a calling. Everything we do in this life is a calling. And if you listen to your inner voice and you follow that calling, you'll never work a day in your life because you will be happy. You will love what you do. And every officer I worked with loved what they did. not all of them were as good at it as others, but none of the ones I worked with were criminals. So when I see dirty cops now, it enrages me. And when Sean sees dirty cops, he gets pissed. So yes, he gets emotional. Yes, sometimes he goes a little overboard with some of the things that he's trying to call out and trying to point out to all of you that this people are dead. Okay, John O'Keefe is dead. He's never coming back. This gentleman died in the line of duty. Ellen Greenberg is dead. Sandra Birchmore is dead. Suzanne Morphew is dead. The two new ladies that I found, these people are all dead and they have zero justice. So this isn't about you. This isn't about your griping in your chat boxes. And this isn't about your money and how much you're making and your brand. This is about people who died and their families are missing them and their families are sad every day because they can't bring them back. So all we can do is stand for them, help people remember who they are, and help them get justice. If we can get people in their communities to do these standouts like you've all been doing for Karen Reed and Justice for John O'Keefe, we can find justice for these people. We can get them justice. We can get their families justice. It takes a village. Hillary Clinton said that many, many years ago, and Bill Clinton said that in one of his famous speeches. It truly, really does take a village. We can't, one person cannot do this on their own. A police department with all good cops can't do this on their own. We have to have the public. We need the public behind finding these criminals who are walking free amongst us after they have murdered someone. They don't deserve it. If they did it and we can prove they did it in a court of law, then they go to jail. That's how this works in our country. So thank you. I appreciate all of you for coming tonight live. I appreciate any of you on the replay. And if the bullying continues, then I will continue to address it, but I will not address it any longer in writing on YouTube or X. If you want to come at me, then I'm going to come back to you in my live stream on a separate, on the Angry Bitch Club night, because that's the night where anything is possible. We can talk about anything to do with women's rights, women empowerment, women getting screwed over by their bosses, women getting screwed over by their husbands and their boyfriends. We're all about women, but we can insert specialty shows whenever we want because we are social change warriors and we can do that. So on Wednesdays, we'll call you out if you're bullying us or if you're bullying someone we care about, or if you're just being absolutely obnoxious in these chats that you're visiting and I see it, I'll call you out for it. So that's that. And that's what we'll continue to do. And Thursday nights, we will continue to call out crime. We will continue to call out corruption. We will continue to fight for justice for all of the victims that we are covering on our channel and any new victims that we come up with, which we already have, and we'll be introducing you to them tomorrow, and the fight that their families are in to get justice for them. And they will be added to our long already list since August. And we will continue this because Amber and I care about justice. We care about justice for people of crimes. And I'll let Amber say her closing, and then I'll say a brief closing, and then we'll wish you all farewell for tonight.
I want to thank you guys for coming, talking with us, chatting with us. Feel free to let us know your ideas and what you want to see more of and what cases that you may know of that we don't know about. I know that RC had given us one. We appreciate that. Thank you. We will be looking into that. We're here for you, and thank you for being here. And I don't know what else to say, but justice for John O'Keefe, justice for Karen Reed, free Karen Reed, justice for Ellen Greenberg, justice for Sandra Birchmore and baby, justice for everybody who has been wronged and who's been a victim. Good night.
Thank you, Amber. And I'm just so proud of you. You are just such an amazing young woman. I don't want you to let this, you're new to this. This is not something you're used to. I'm used to this. I dealt with a lot of craziness as a police officer and as a social worker. So this is not hard for me to take, but I do know this has been a rough 2 weeks for you and the bullying that you've encountered and the things that were said to you. So thank you. And we're going to go forward. We're going to do the onward up. We're going to keep doing what we do here at Social Change Warriors. You're with us. that's great. If you're not, that's okay too. So thank you again to everybody. I have a family member who's not well right now. So if you are a God-fearing person, I would appreciate the prayers for one of my family members who's not well, and for me, because I am about to get a new knee on Wednesday. So I would appreciate that as well. And please have a good Thanksgiving, however you celebrate it. And we will be back in 2 weeks. We'll be off next week for the holidays and for my knee surgery, but we will be back. We'll be back tomorrow night. So first of all, we have a double header tomorrow night. We have a brief interview again with Digital Warrior, where we're going to talk politics, and then we have a calling out corruption, where we're going to finish our story about Ellen Greenberg and introduce you to the two newest victims that we found out about who are not receiving any justice right now. So we will be back tomorrow night, but for Angry Bitch Club, we'll see you in 2 weeks. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Deidre. I appreciate you. Reality Check, thank you so much for coming. You're all dear to me. KD, I appreciate you. Chrissy, oh gosh, I don't want to miss anybody who was in the chat with us tonight. I think we had a couple other people stop in and leave. So thank you for coming, however long you could make it. That's wonderful. I know we made a new friend tonight, so I think I'm going to get an email from, is it Ripper? Ripper Media? So thank you for coming, Ripper Media. And we will look forward to seeing you all tomorrow night if you can make it. If not, have a wonderful holiday next week, and we'll see you with the Angry Bitch Club in 2 weeks. Take care, everyone. Share us out on your socials, Social Change Warriors, Just Us, and we'll see y'all soon. Take care, everyone. Be kind. Bye.